Hi guys, it's Matt. Welcome back to another video. This week I'm really excited to bring you guys my tack up and grooming routine. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while now, and I tried to do this audio recording already and I failed completely, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it my style because I was struggling to do it in the regular way. So the first thing I do is I get in my car and I have to drive to my horse because sadly my horse is 5 minutes away, and I'll tell you guys why in just a second. So I keep Emporio at a stable 5 minutes away because he's a stallion, and at home we don't really have the facilities to hold a stallion, and we don't have any stables left. But that doesn't matter because the stable is called 𝐒𝐻𝐿 and it's very, very, very good. So I'm happy to keep him here. He's always ready to greet me at the window. He's always ready for a pat, a cuddle. He always wants attention and he loves it, and so I make sure to give him something before I swing around and go inside. He's always sticking his head out and is ready, but today was a bit different, and I was like, what's going on? Why don't you love me? But it turns out he was eating. So all is forgiven, all is well. I decided because he was eating, I was going to take it a little bit easier and go and grab his stuff to tack him up already and do all that so he can eat, and then he wouldn't have to wait later. Now we hold all of our things in the tack room at 𝐒𝐻𝐿. And the first thing I have to do is grab my key because all the lockers are locked, and mine is number 7. There it is. And now I was very anxious about this next bit because I'd been away for a few days on a work trip and I didn't know how my locker looked because I didn't know how I left it, but it wasn't that bad. But I can promise you guys this is not what it usually looks like. It usually looks like a tornado has gone off inside of a small wooden box. So now I'm grabbing my Harnacke collection halter and my grooming bag from Blue Horse, and I bring everything back out, just getting everything ready so when I bring Emporio out, everything is laid out and ready to go. Now the next thing I do is I prepare what he's going to be wearing for the ride and all my other stuff. So this is my Harnacke collection. It's something I released a month ago-ish with myself and Back on Track. We worked so hard on all of this. All the products include 𝐿𝐻𝐿, and I couldn't be more happy with the turnout. So we have a full range that you guys can check out at www.harnacke.com. I hope you guys like it because I absolutely love it and I use it every day. So next I go and grab Emporio. He had just finished eating, so his nose was very dirty and I didn't quite want that on my jacket. He likes to be all over you, so that's not really the most fun if he's dirty. But nevertheless, I grab my halter and I put it on him, and I put it on him because we are gonna get ready to clean out his feet, and I want to make sure I have some control so he doesn't go anywhere, even though he's very good. Oh, and they say I got all messed up, but that's honestly having a horse with long hair has been the most challenging thing, and I'll tell you guys why later. You'll see why. But I free up all that and then I get onto the feet. I like to make sure that his feet are nice and clean. Emporio is so sweet. He always helps me out. He's so light with his feet. He picks them up for me. He's always very, very helpful, and I like to clean them out thoroughly because, as I said, it is winter now. It's cold. And with he's doing a bit of a stretch actually, but it is cold and rainy now, and so the soles of the feet get quite soft and stone bruising can happen a lot more easily. So I like to make sure everything's nice and clean, get rid of the mud and anything else that is stuck in there. I'm lucky that he's so chill with doing all these things. He's chill with everything, but around his feet and everything he's very, very chilled. Now we walk out and we head towards the tack up area. Now today I did put him inside the wash bay because I wanted to have a little bit more space for the filming, and I thought it might look a little bit more presentable as well. We have a lot of things happening at the moment at our stable, so I wanted to try and just keep him in the wash bay to also keep him a bit more chilled. But usually he's so fine. Like if you tack him up next to mares, next to stallions, next to geldings, you can have horses going past and he's absolutely fine. And look how much he's grown, guys. Like his coat's getting darker because the winter coat's coming through, and he's gaining so much weight. He looks really, really good. And you guys will see that in a second. So I start to take the rug off. I always work my way from front to back. A lot of people have stuff to say about that, or you should do it this way, you should do it that way. It's really not that big of a deal at this moment for him because he's so chill and quiet, and I always think it's better to do it from the front because if the rug slides back, it can slide off the legs. Now, what I do next is I put my own rug on, the Harnacke collection rug, because I like to keep him warm whilst I fidget with his mane and I prepare all of that. I like to keep his back muscles warm, especially because we're going to be riding and going into all that, and I just think it's a little bit nicer for him. So I just put my little rug on and I think it looks good. So it also makes me happy. It just satisfies my soul. Now what I do is I grab a little stool because it's easier if you have a bit of height, and then I grab elastic bands. I have a comb also that can clip the hair back, a regular brush, and then my Blue Horse Super Shine spray that's going to be helping to untangle all the knots. I never like to brush any hair without it, just because it's a little bit nicer for him because he has such long hair. Imagine your hair getting pulled with knots. That wouldn't be fun. I don't have long hair, but some of my friends don't enjoy that, so I would presume it's not fun. Now this is the style I like to do. It's these little tiny plaits that are only go down about like 2-3 centimeters. And this just helps the hair stay in control, because when I ride, otherwise the hair would be all over me, all in my hands. And so what I do, I divide the hair into 3 sections and I just plait it down, not too tight, just gently, just so it's neat and tidy. And then I section it off with 2 rubber bands just to make sure it doesn't get undone. And I continue this process all the way down, and I roughly do it the width of the comb. So if any of you guys, I've seen a lot of you guys do it already, but if anybody want to share you trying the Emporio hairstyle, do let me know. I always love seeing it. But yeah, so I'll just continue and do this all the way down. Now I do the forelock. I plait it down all the way because we're going to be putting it up later to go into the bonnet, so into the fly veil. And my brushes are very dirty, so my face was just trying to comprehend why I haven't cleaned them before. And now I always like to start with a curry comb because it's nice for Emporio. He really loves getting scratched and getting that kind of a bit rougher attention. He has like a sweet spot. Every single part of his body is a sweet spot. So he just, wherever you scratch him, he loves it. He'll move back into it. He'll put pressure into it. He just loves it. And brushing is a great time to be with your horse and check them all over. And I had just washed him, so I didn't go into too much of a grooming routine. But usually I've got about 3 or 4 different brushes I use, and obviously doing both sides. But I just washed him, so he didn't need too much attention. Now I go in with my Super Shine spray from Blue Horse again, going into the tail, and I always do this with long hair. To spray it first, as I said, I don't want to rip anything out, and especially for the tail, it's much more gentle. And this tail was already very clean, so it didn't need too much attention at all today. Now I move on to bandaging. If I would tell you guys I bandage every day, I would be a liar, because who has time for that? So on some days I do bandage when I'm feeling like I've got the energy and the mental power to do it, but most days I will use a regular black boot, which also looks very nice in my collection. And so just sectioning that all off and getting that logo in the front is a trick. It does take a little bit of time, but with some practice it becomes very easy. You just have to be the bandage, get to know the bandage. But yeah, I really love the look of it. It really finishes his leg off. And black is such a timeless color, so it always fits well. Now, I bought these bell boots and they only had medium and they're clearly too small. But I was like, well, it's better than nothing. So I definitely need to go back and buy some large. Now I'm going in with my 𝐒𝐿 saddle. It's the D2 if anybody's interested. Chase has a D4. And my own saddle pad, which has 8mm of memory foam in it, so you don't need to use a sheepskin. And then the sheepskin's only there for decoration. It's actually fake fur. I don't know how to say it, but it's a fake sheepskin made out of pulled velvet. And it's the softest thing you will ever feel. It wears so much better than real sheepskin. And it's really, really good. So I love it. It fits off the saddle cloth so nicely, and as you guys can see, the saddle cloth has an anatomical shape and it makes horses look so much bigger. And it obviously has the added value of the 𝐿𝐿, which is the ceramic back on track works with to improve blood flow. Good boy. I'm always proud of him when he stands still tacking up, because he is only 4 years old. He's a stallion and he does it really, really well. So it's really not about taking anything for granted. Now I put his little forelock up in a little bowl, because now when I have to put and that was full of hair. But when I have to put the bonnet on, it helps when the hair's all the way, otherwise it goes in his eye. Now I go on to put my Springer spurs on. I like to have spurs because when I do lateral movements, it helps me pinpoint somewhere. It's not about kicking. Emporio is super sensitive. Excuse my really dirty boots, but I'm also going to be a liar if I say I clean my boots after every ride. I like to do it after 2 or 3 rides, and these are my Harnacke boots that have my logo on them from Kingsley Footwear. And now I put my cap on. and it's the carbon fiber one that you guys have seen in previous videos. And I grab my bridle and the bonnet, and we're off. Emporio is very good with this process now. In the beginning, he did struggle a little bit with being around his ears and all that kind of stuff. But as with anything with horses, if you treat them nicely and you work through it with them and you make them see that it's not a problem, there's nothing to be scared of, you can kind of get through anything. And as you can see now, he's super chill. I do put the reins over his neck to have some control, but it is a safe environment for me not to have him connected to anything. And I do think sometimes keeping the halter around the neck can be dangerous for some horses. So I just prefer to do it like this. That's just my own personal preference. There's no right or wrong. And then I do up my noseband, not too tight obviously, and then I go on to also tighten my flash, also not too tight. I like things to be like obviously snug, but not anything crazy. You can still fit plenty of fingers between both noseband and flash. And now just double checking the girth and tightening that up. And obviously rewarding him for being so good. And he looks so good. I just can't believe this horse. He's completely changed riding for me. He's made my whole journey in riding so fresh and new. Now what I do next, sorry I'm getting sidetracked, is I put my Matt Harnacke rug back on Emporio. I like to keep him warm while I train. It is a bit cooler now. We're going into autumn, winter, and it is nice to just train him with this. And then as he's warmed up, before I start to trot, I take it off. And that's it, guys. That's my routine. That's how I like to groom, tack up my horse. I hope it was interesting for you guys. If you guys wanted to shop the look of any of the products you saw, I'll have them linked down below, or you can find them on www.mattharnacke.com. But for the rest, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I had a great ride with Emporio, and I'm going to be doing a lot more riding videos showing you guys how I train very soon. But for now, I will see you guys on the next video. Okay, bye guys.